Hello, and this will be a next video from Anthony Dawn's 31 Days of Tarot. It is about the most sassy deck and the most gentle deck that I have, that I consider having. And let me explain something first, and I will stay a little bit longer on the idea of the sassy deck. My maternal language isn't English, so I wasn't really sure about the word sassy. So I looked it up and I came up with the German words fresh and keck. And I like that word keck. And the moment I heard that word, I read that word, I knew exactly what deck it would be. Before I had no clue whatsoever what deck could be sassy for me, and now I'm absolutely sure, and I will explain to you why. This is the Fate Tarot. And let me explain, or let me tell you two of my experiences and two of the lessons I got from that deck. And what gives me this idea of it might hit you and still has that smile on its face so that you cannot really be mad at it. So when I started having the other one or the other decks, I was trying to find decks that could give me a possibility to go deeper. And I was lucky to work at a place, and just next to that place, the neighbor shop of that place was actually an esoterical shop, and I knew the shopkeeper. And she came up with different decks from time to time. She brought new decks in. The one we have right now only has the typical decks, Rider-Waite or Thoth. It doesn't have this diversity, so I like this here. And so one day I came in, and she had this deck, and for the Germans, it's maybe a little bit more logical what I'm explaining. But in English, this deck is simply called Fate Tarot, and I wouldn't have had that problem at that moment. But here it is called Glücksfeen Tarot. So that's literally the lucky Fate Tarot. And I wasn't into that stuff at that moment. I was more like, the deck didn't need to be dark, but it had to be a little bit more grounded in a certain way to really have the possibility to go deeper. So to end up with this cute little thing looking at me and this lucky Fate Tarot, no, I didn't want that deck at that moment. So sometime later, I was looking up for pictures to make a flyer for an informational evening in exactly that shop. And there was something that I was missing in a certain way when I was looking at a normal tarot deck. So let me explain. It is about the Hermit. So especially the card that goes deeper, and especially because concerning my astrological sign, the Hermit should be my card. And taking a look at a normal Rider-Waite version card, it had this sober idea behind the Hermit, and this as he's bowing his head. And what I was missing was actually to show the struggle I went through when I was trying to find out things about myself, when I was trying to work on myself. So I was looking for an image, for a picture of an hermit in the internet to find a picture that showed that struggle actually. And I ended up with this card. Actually, this is my absolute favorite hermit card. I love that one already. I like the stairs that go like MC Escher has drawn them. And when I took a look at this gnome, you know, that face like, I have to maybe rearrange my mess. And I was saying, exactly, this is what I'm talking about. This is what the hermit is actually, what he looks inside, while everyone believes him to be sober and neutral and retrieved and so on. But this is going on inside of him. So I checked what deck it was, and actually even the German name of it turned up, and it was Lucky Fate Tarot. So I went back to the shop and asked her if she still had the deck, and I bought it and explained the story to her. And this is exactly the kind of messages and the kind of lessons that this deck gives me each time. So that is why I like it, and because I think this is kind of sassy, sort of, okay, if you don't want to buy the deck, I'm going to show you how it's working. And another way, another card that turned up, which had the audacity actually for me not to show a typical this typical card. So let me explain another situation I had. So I took the deck to a friend of mine, and we were talking about a situation she was in because there was a friend of hers, and she wasn't really, something wasn't working, and she didn't know what it was. So we just wanted to take a look at the situation, and she picked a card, and it was the Four of Pentacles. So just to give you an example, this is normally the Four of Pentacles, and the card that my Sassy deck shows something else entirely. And the moment I saw the card, I just said, I have a question. Maybe it's too close or too personal, but this friend of yours, does she have a problem with her husband? Does she have a problem with men? And she looked at me sort of, how the hell do you know? I said, I didn't know, but the card knows. And it brings up a completely different point of security concerning the Four of Pentacles. Because if you take a look, this gnome, he's locked on the wheel. So if this wheel is turning, it's going to be crushed by the wheel or whatever. And the key is there. And I came up with the idea, okay, the key might be a phallic symbol, and the lock is the female part. And she's so much into her womanhood in a way, in a negative way, that she wouldn't even lower herself to ask for the help of a man to get out of trouble. And it was exactly it. It was spot on. It was exactly what was disturbing her, because each time she went there, and there was even a small problem, and maybe just a problem, something where she wasn't really strong enough, and she said, let's ask your husband. Oh no, he's not capable of doing anything. Let him out of this. We are going to do this. And actually, again, it has this smiling way to show her um, what was really going on, or to show me what was really going on. And I like this in this deck. So it's not all lucky and happy and sunshine and beautiful. It has a way to wrap the dark things in a certain smile, and I like this in this deck. And I would always pick it when I need a sassy answer. The gentle deck. I was wondering about it for quite some time because I have several decks that I consider to be gentle, and then one crossed my mind, and I knew that was the one that I wanted to take to share with you. It's the Gaian Tarot. So this is actually, as I got it in one of those big boxes, and I didn't want to bring it around. So I am just making boxes like that, putting an image on it so that I know that it is this deck, because elsewhere I have a lot of blue boxes and always have to open them to find the right deck. And I want to show you one card. I'm showing you several cards just to give you an idea of the deck. But there's one card especially that I would like to show you that gives me the idea that it is a very kind deck and a very gentle deck. It's the Three of Swords. Normally the Three of Swords in a certain way has a certain kind of judgment that comes along. A lot of people, when I hear them speaking of the Three of Swords, when I get a reading from someone and there's Three of Swords in it, it is in a way, it has this negative touch, and the explanation brings to me, it's my feeling, uh, that I am stuck in that situation. And to tell me that I am stuck in a situation is one thing, but when I want a counseling from a tarot reader, it is a very good thing if I might get an idea how to get out of it. And this idea of the three of thoughts, to be stuck in that situation, maybe a heartache or so on, how to get out of it. And I love, because this card is simply showing a solution. So, and if you can see there, you can even see the Rider Waite Three of Swords lying there, and the person is writing it out of his system. And there is no, I think the card is very gentle. There is no judgment. There is not, I don't know, an image of something that goes on in his head, but as if he's trying to get a certain neutrality in it. For example, one of the ideas I got through reading through books, when you have a problem, also a problem with a person, write a letter, but never send the first letter. It's not for them. And if you write it several times and you get it out of the system, you get a certain distance to the situation, to the person, and so on. And I think that this is exactly showing this. There is a gentleness in this card for a card that normally comes up and may show too much of the problem. And I don't want to get the problem explained. I need solutions, or at least a hint of a solution where I may go to solve what the problem is, because the problem mostly I know it. So this is why I like this deck. This is the kind of gentleness that I need. The Three of Cups, it might be fun in a certain way, but whoever has seen otters playing along, I think there is something kind and gentle in it. I know they chase, and it's not that they are fluffy bunnies, definitely not. But the way they communicate and how they handle each other, there is a lot of kindness in it, and a lot of um, family stuff, but in a good way. You know, not of we have our family strategies and our family ideas, and we have to, you know, keep those values up. It is something heartfelt in a certain way. And I consider this deck to be something very, it's a deck for me that has a lot to do with coming home and feeling at home and including everyone. For example, this way to have them really with gray hairs. It's not very often that you have cards, tarots, while there are more and more, where the old people are included. No, they still have their brown hairs, their black hairs, their blonde hairs, their red hairs, but to find them with gray hairs for me is a beautiful idea. So I'm just showing you several other cards to give you an idea of why I may think this is a deck that has a very gentle touch that I like very much, because it is gentle but keeps it serious. It is gentle, but I have the feeling that it still takes your problem seriously, and it's not, you know, just putting some sparkling stuff over and say, no, you simply have to feel happy and everything will be fine again. No, it's definitely serious, and still it has a kind of gentle touch in it that I personally like very, very much. So this is my choice concerning the two decks, and I hope you like my little insight, and thanks for watching.